Embiid, nice defense there on McDaniels, who's looking for a call. Good luck. Simmons tracking it down and somehow providing a finish. Come good soon enough, and sure enough, he did. Those big hits paid off. It's behind the back to Embiid. Joel getting his first bucket of the game. Embiid has already missed a couple of threes. There's Green, hits for a three. Got it. So Danny Green hits Tobias. Sneaking up there and trying to pass Joel's attention.
What is up, everybody? I'm your host, Tony Jigsaw Console, joined by my man Al, my man Andre. This is the first inaugural episode of Half Court Heat NBA Talk with a Sixer state of mind. Had to throw a little Nas in there for all you hip hop people. But listen, man, this has been great. We're going to talk every Sunday, whether it be Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, whatever we can make it convenient. Give you some NBA content, talk about the Sixers, talk about the NBA, whatever we can do to get you up to speed and get your feelings and your thoughts for the NBA landscape. So right now, it looks like Andre had a little technical difficulties. No big deal. He'll be back. Al, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Feeling good. I'm still a little annoyed by them throwing us underneath the bus the other night, yesterday, and then giving the Heat in Boston that easy out. But, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, it happens, right? It happens.
Good,
I mean,
right?
This is a weird COVID year, and we just never know what's going to happen. But it is tough. The only good thing I will say,
finally,
that's all. We got you back.
Yeah,
We're all good. We got you back. You flipped off real fast. That's okay. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Hey, listen, nothing in radio or streaming is true.
Live
What's up?
TV.
but we're here.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yes, absolutely. One good thing I like about that game yesterday, though, honestly, is I like seeing the young guys play. I love it. I love seeing the young guys play. I was excited to see Maxey get a career high. I was excited to see the young boy Isaiah Joe, the Razorback. We talked about him before. I love to see it. Andre, man, what you think of those young boys yesterday?
I think they did a good job, but more importantly, we saw a coach yesterday. We saw a real coach. We saw a coach, and I even put it on Twitter. And I said, what's really, really cool is that Doc played to the strength of the players. He told everybody to get away, let Maxey just go off. And then I was more impressed by the way he was rotating. You're going in there short-handed with 7 players. The fouls, we knew that Dwight was going to get them, but Dwight, but what I really loved was I noticed a lot of conversation with some of the vets with the young players.
Yeah.
And they look susceptible and they look open to take advice, make sure they're in the right spots, in the right position. So the young players, I think, exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we really watched a coach keep the team together the entire game, all 4 quarters.
Encouraged them the whole game, you know, good or bad. I mean, that's what you need. I mean, I actually thought we was going to get blown up by like 50. That's what I really thought. No way in the world I thought Maxey was going to go off like that. Just blew me away with everything that he was throwing. Them jump shots, off the dribble, the beautiful teardrop that he's developed already. The pick and rolls and going straight to the basket strong, no hesitation.
I'll tell you, man. Most points by a rookie since AI, too, by the way.
Yeah, 39. He killed it. And just a quick story about that. I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but Doc said, dude, that last play, I know that was the right basketball play, but you got to throw that up at the rim, bro. You got to get that 40. You got to go get it.
Yeah.
With those the other thing I saw that I noticed with those young players is when that second unit come in, you know who's the captain of that ship when that second unit comes in. It was very clear.
Yeah.
And they actually showed in spurts and toward obviously to the last couple of minutes of the game, because there was a stretch in that third where the game looked like it was getting out of hand.
Yeah.
But then, just like a second unit's supposed to do, they come in and they got their personality back together. That's who they are. Attack. And they show who they, like, what's the old saying? They show who they were.
They did.
Yeah, how can you complain about anything those kids did?
I mean, it gives us hope. When was the last time we were able to watch kids like that play and be excited? Right? That many, too.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
That was like giving them, maybe it's the last preseason game, and you just letting them play the whole last preseason game. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Just let them play.
And Doc, you can see Doc likes to let them play. I mean, they're trying to build that second strong team, which is tremendous. And that's one of the things we're going to get into, because it's something we've never had here on the Sixers in a long time. You know, I mentioned this before. Everybody checking in. Jamar, what's up? Dan, what's up? Jamar says, new look Sixers. Love the spacing. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that later. Young Bulls have some talent. Doc may be cool prospect. Stay tuned. I know A-Bomb got something on that. Phil, what's up, Phil? Checking in. Is Maxey going to be the best player from the draft? Total overreaction. But kid is impressive.
Right.
I get it. You know what, though, Phil? I told you, I'm not afraid to be excited right now. And he dropped. Let's face it. He dropped. He dropped. He should have went much higher. And when you come from I'm always, when I say this all the time, if you come from an organization or a collegiate atmosphere that is, that breeds talent, like at Kentucky, you already have that culture. You already have the pedigree. And if you could just add him in like they have, I'll tell you what, this is the best coach for this rookie, man. The best coach. Thank God. Al, what do you think, man? Tyree, I know it's early, but you gotta like what you like from. You gotta like what you see from the young boy.
This kid is just blowing me away. I mean, Andre already told us, like in that first episode, getting out. It's like, okay, let's see. He already blew me away with expectations. I expected out of him. I expected, come in, play. There. But now, after that game, I'm thinking, how many more ways can we get him on the court? So he's going to be your second point guard, and let's Shea play the two, right? So now I'm thinking, when Quirk comes back, you can in those nights that Quirk is not shooting the way you need him to, and you got maybe Shake at the point, you can pull him out and let Maxey run the point, and then do whatever you got to do, or do Shake and Maxey at the same time. I mean, you can mix and match that. He's got to get a certain amount of time every night now. You have to get him involved and give him, because imagine from now, how many games we're in?
10 games. 10 games.
All right, so now we've got 62 more games to get him ready for the playoffs. That's what this is about, getting him ready that he can contribute in the playoffs off the bench. I mean, how can you, what will you do? Nobody can say that they want to get thinking that he could be a nice piece to this puzzle this season. Nobody was thinking that. You're thinking maybe get a little bit out of him, but not to this degree. I mean, he's a nightmare off the pick and roll. You just got to get him. He's got a little. I was looking the other night. He's got a little gun in him, but I like that.
He got a lot of gun in him.
Yes. So now you got to get him coming off that pick and roll and looking first, then looking for his shot, looking for those corners where you got 3-point shooter that, then thinking, all right, I'm gonna go then you and come with my game.
I don't think he's that comfortable getting that ball out to them corners yet, because him and Dwight are creating a really good relationship with the pick and roll.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is that he's not, since he's a natural penetrator, I don't know if he has the peripheral to get the ball all the way out into the corners yet. And obviously, you're going to need training and conditioning and all that because
Got two
it's
point
only
guards on the
some.
coach's staff.
I know, but it's only some special players who can make that pass off that pick and roll.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have some strength to get that ball. That's a far distance without it getting picked off and the guys going the other way on defense.
Right. That's true.
But Maxey, man,
Oh my
listen.
God. I was watching the Lakers game the other night, and LeBron did off the pick and roll pass to the corner that was right in the pocket and just drank it. I mean, he's still at his age is absolutely ridiculous with the passing.
No, he's an anomaly. It's not even a question. LeBron, that's a whole show.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and I'll be getting you guys all on another level on that show. Trust me. But no disrespect to LeBron, but Jamar says college has prepared him for the stage. He reminds me of Sexton, and he's very twitchy. Listen, Colin Sexton is balling this year in Cleveland. I mean, we talked about this from a fantasy perspective, but we can talk about that on an NBA level. That Cleveland's got some players, man. They got some nice young players. They building something nice out there. But it's nice to be talked about in that conversation, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. Will checks in, says, "What's up, Bill?" He says, "What else do the Sixers need is Ben being phased out." There's the first. Yeah.
I knew the haters were coming.
Yeah.
I can't take it any. Listen.
It only takes one bad game, and then
I cannot take the Ben. I'm not taking it. I don't know what the comments are going to say. I don't know who's checking in. But what I do know is that we're not talking bad about Ben. We can't.
Listen. Here's what I will
everything
say.
that happens is Ben's fault.
Well,
that game against the Nets had nothing to do with Ben. It was no energy, no hustle, getting out rebounded, offensive rebounds. They had like 12 offensive rebounds. It was so many things that was wrong with that game, but it wasn't Ben's fault on why we lost that game.
Well, I will say this though. And again, you guys know. Listen, I love Ben. I love his defensive intensity. I like the kind of players. I still think we've already seen his ceiling. I know I'm in a minority when I come to that, but I just don't think that you're going to see much more than what you see right now. My biggest thing is when these defenses start to lock down on Joel and Tobias, and they make Ben beat them. I don't think he can. I still see some of the same things. I know it's only 10 games, but he's still not finishing at the rim the way he should. I've seen him miss 3 shots already. Ridiculous little finger rolls because he's so indecisive when he gets past the free throw line. He needs to do better than that, and that's why I keep thinking that his ceiling is already maxed. Listen, I like Ben, and right now the way those 3 are playing, phenomenal. But again, when come playoff time, we've seen this before. I know we have more shooters this year, but when they've locked down on Embiid and they've locked down on other players and they made Ben beat them, he can't do it because he's limited. So I think that's kind of where a lot of this Ben talk comes from. And then the first time you see them lose, it's like, what did Ben do? He didn't do enough, right? Indirectly, but that's what's going to happen.
But meanwhile, the game before, he has 17, 12, and 9. Nobody wants to mention that. They only mention when he does in a bad game, and he got, I think, 3 for 11, which probably 3 to 4 was very small. She was right at the basket and then finished like you were saying. So that's what I get the frustration on that because I want them to feel you either got to go to the hoop strong and ready to dunk, or actually, that's all I want you to do. Don't stop laying it up. I always hated laying it up instead of going to the hoop strong.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is our expectation. So Tony, in one regard, I do agree with you about the ceiling. But after 10 games in a season, I think we as a whole, like a fan base, the coaching staff, everybody, the organization, expected Ben to be at least the second scorer on the team. I mean, for him to be the third scorer on the team, to me, is a little letdown. because I know Tobias is balling out, and I know we're going to talk about that, but coming into the season, we only talked about Joe and Ben, right?
Right.
It's no different than Pippen and Jordan or Kyrie and so your two superstars got to be leading the way. And for it not to be happening, I think that plays a little part in it as well.
All right, but if you say that, right?
To be the second.
But if you say that, right, we also said in our I guess you call that our preview show.
Yeah.
We also talked about that Tobias has to be a certain amount of points. And if he's not, then that's a disappointment as well. And he is stepping up. He's played that one first game that everybody wanted to trade him and get him out of town, and he's a bum. And ever since, he has played very, very well. Consistent basketball, rebounding, shooting, not hesitating on that jump shot off the catch. And he's done everything we need him to do. So I get you on one point, but Tobias has played if he wasn't playing that, oh my goodness, they would be running to kill him.
Well, Tobias is I just think what Doc brings in that relationship is more consistency. Because Tobias is, I mean, if you look at his stats, he's after 10 games, he's averaging exactly what he was averaging when he was with the Clippers. Mm-hmm. He's averaging about that 19 points a game. Mm-hmm. That to me should be the third scorer on a team that's a stacked like we're stacked. Because remember when you said when we were talking about on a previous show when we were going back and forth about Shake starting instead of Seth, right? So here's the different dynamic when it comes to that. And the comparison of the only reason why I'm bringing this back up is because Tobias's production when Seth is starting is kind of keeping him in that 19, 20 point range. Because just the way that Doc naturally rotates the players in and out. Okay. Because there's plenty of times where he's on the floor and he's our scorer. He needs to be the scorer, Tobias. He wasn't right. So after that first game, we really didn't see it. And we were kind of looking for Danny to step up a little bit, right?
I expected Danny to have a slow start because of coming off the bubble. And he has gradually his ceiling is going to be so high anyway. Yeah. All I want him to do is hit the open shots that he gets. That's all I need him to do. So he's going to get maybe 3 to 5 open jump shots either at the top of the key or in the corner. And all I need him to do is hit those. And he give me 10 points, and I'm good with that. If he gets anything over that, that's just bonus.
What I'm excited about is that Seth is giving us exactly what we need, and when he's not on the court, we see it. We see it when he's not on. We see it when he's not on the court, though.
Yes, and I'm seeing him taking people off the dribble, pump faking, and taking people with the left, taking people with the right. I didn't see that in his game. I'm thinking he's
not in Dallas.
Going to shoot in that sense. I don't know if he's been working on that and he's gotten better because I never seen that in his game that he was taking people off the dribble like that. Now that's nice.
I never seen that either. I was shocked. I was like, okay. I mean, that's a whole different element,
right?
That we did not know that was available, and it's helped immensely. Like you guys said, when he was out the other night, the spacing was non-existent again. Yeah, and I didn't realize how important he was to the style of offense that they're running. So, I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, Dan checking his staff taking over against LAC, amazing as well. I mean, listen, when he was taking over, man, unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. Jamar checking in, Maxie got some gun in him, but Ben has none. So it may even itself out, especially going to the future. Ben is irreplaceable. I'll tell you, man, it's going to start.
10 games in.
But he seems like his shooting opportunities are becoming more of a problem. Agree, Tony, 100%. He needs more toughness around the rim. Been saying that for a while. Tobias is balling. We know that, right? You guys are not going to like this coming up next. Tobias and Phil, I know I didn't support him. I'm going to be the first one to say. I mean, I was calling him soft all year. I was hard on Tobias.
I mean, he got crushed after that first game. I mean, he hammered him. Like, everybody, please, everybody calm down. It's one game. And
Yeah,
then,
but he was
the next
G League
game,
after
he's
that first game.
it.
After that first game, he was already in Delaware. He was G League after that first game, bro. And I must admit, I was like, Tobias, I'm trying to ride with you.
Yeah,
but
I knew, you know, that's not his game. I mean, basically, that first game was the bubble. That's how bad he played.
Yeah,
and then after that, he got back to his normal self. But you know, shooters are going to have that every once in a while. But we can't afford that when we trying to go where we're trying to go.
No, not at all. Dan says Danny's legs look heavy. No, you know,
in the beginning.
Short off season, you know, deep into the playoffs. We have to remember veterans. I don't disagree. I think it's gonna, and he's starting just like you said. The last couple games, he started to really pick it up, which is what.
And Doc's going to manage his minutes at the end of the year anyway, so he can get ready for the playoffs. That's when we need Danny. We really don't need him to be killing heavy minutes right now. What do we need him to do heavy minutes right now? It's not helpful right now. In the playoffs is very important.
Now, Craig cracks in. He says, no, Seth is a good choice for Doc to start over Shake. Shake is our Lou Williams. Interesting.
I bet you know I'm a Shake guy. I don't know about the Lou part. Lou is Lou.
You know what?
Lou is Lou.
Yeah, Lou. You know, it's funny. I can see what he was. I can see what he's talking about though. He because Lou. Lou had Shake don't look as tough as Lou.
No.
You know, Shake still has tough. Lou came in with AI, dude. It's a difference. You in practice with Allen Iverson. That'll make you tough. But I can see what he's saying as far as where we gonna need like a nice spark or some hot scoring real quick or a nice 5 to 7 minute stretch in a game where you just need that other guy to take over to spell your big guy, you know, as far as the scoring in regards to the scoring. So I can see that. I can see that could be.
Yeah, he'll Shake and have a quick little 10-point run, and you'd be like, damn, he's got 20 already. And you don't even know it because he's sprinkling in here. He'll have 10 here, then 5 here, then another 5. The other night he had like 22. I was like, when did he score 22? But he's had a beautiful off the dribble left hand off the glass that I don't see anybody messing with right now. He takes it right off the dribble, left hand all the way to the basket and lays it off with a left. I love it when he does that. So he developed that in the offseason because he didn't have that last year.
He looks a little. I think he's more Drew Holiday than
you know what? That makes more sense.
I think he's a little more Drew Holiday because he's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's smooth where you be like, that guy should have threw his shot in the third row and it went in. You're like, whoa,
right?
You know, but that's that off season conditioning. This dude literally went in the weight room. Mm-hmm. He went in the weight room and he conditioned, and that's when Shake working out in the off season is showing, and his confidence has grown.
Definitely. But that bubble should have helped his confidence because he played very well in the bubble. Shocked me in the bubble, just taking shots that I didn't think he was going to take. I mean, he stepped up in the bubble. So that's why when we was talking on that preview show, that I had a feeling that he was going to come back and play like this year, and he's doing exactly what I expected him to do.
There's other teams like Tony mentioned Cleveland earlier. Cleveland, I believe, is 7th in the East right now, right? And I know it's still early, but after 10 games, I mean, we got to be happy. We just played a game with 7 guys. Awkward in the NBA.
Yeah.
This isn't middle school, elementary school basketball where you're like, oh, run with the 6 you got. You know what I mean? A Delco ref coming in. No disrespect to Delco refs. You know, for their $30 at the end of the game. Come on, we got to give them that 30. You got to make sure you get that 30. But anyway, it's an NBA game. It's 7 players. So to be tied for first place in the East after 10 games with 2 games we should have won.
We're top. We're tied for the best record in the East. Period. Not just our division.
Right, in the Eastern Conference.
With Indiana, right?
Eastern Conference. No, we're tied with the Celtics at 7-3.
Okay, I think Indiana lost last night.
Yeah,
I think Indiana lost.
Indiana is 6. But Indiana only played 9 games so far. They're 6
Yeah.
and 3. But just to see that in 2 games, I totally believe we should have won anyway.
Yeah.
And one of the games, obviously against Brooklyn, that I totally understand. That was the only game that threw me for.
Then remember, I tweeted that I thought that was going to be a problem back to back on the road. I had
but
a feeling that was coming.
I'm not feeling Jared Allen. Like I think Allen is he's the guy that's on everybody's poster this year already.
Yeah.
There's like don't you remember when other teams are having like breakout games? It's always on an Eagle or a Sixer or a Flyer or a Philly. You're like, yo, don't you have other highlights
against us?
Yeah, like don't you have other highlights you can show? So that's Jared Allen. That's every dunk highlight I've seen so far this year was on him. And then in my head, I'm going, all right, no Kyrie, no KD.
Mm-hmm.
They also had another player that was out on injury. Yeah. And then in my head, I'm going, all right, well, at best, our second unit.
What's his name? The other guy tore his ACL, right?
Yeah, he's out on IR. But at best, I thought our second unit could at least, our second unit probably could have ran with them. I think Doc stretched a few guys a little too long in that game. But
in the game before that.
Yeah, in the game before that, knowing that they're going to Brooklyn because it was a trap game for them young kids, and it definitely was because those guys don't run out of energy. The young guys don't run out of energy at all. But Danny Green and those guys.
Maxey played every minute except for 4 in that game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So I think the game before, when we knew that the game was in hand. Listen, it's only 10 games in. I'm excited for the team, but I don't want to go too far out until we get closer to the playoffs because we're going to see a different rotation with the players we have. And the report card was yesterday. That was the report card for these young players.
Right.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean,
Thibault isn't.
No. Yeah, that's the next comment. I'm gonna get in. I want to ask you guys about him in a couple minutes, but to what you guys were saying, I completely agree. I mean, the one thing that has been apparent through the first 10 games is obviously the X factor is coaching. I think we've talked about that, and it's not just Doc. It's the assistant coaches that he's brought along with him. It's the entire culture of that team, right? And that's one of the most important things I think we were talking about in our preview show, how much it's taken. Because there's a couple of those games where we probably would have lost. That Washington game, we probably would have lost that with Brett Brown. Yeah. That's right. I think we're all in agreement on that. And one of the biggest things I'll say about the Brooklyn game is, like, first of all, like, I think it's because, we were already expecting, number one, even though it was like a letdown, but then it was like, wait a minute, no Kyrie, no KD. Oh, we're good, right? And who the hell expected
that's the first, right?
To give his best impression of white men can't jump? I mean, like, seriously, at the end of the day, right? There's Woody Harrelson out there, on another level. Like, he just took the game over. So, I mean, and those performances are going to happen, but overall, Jamar's asking about Matisse, and I want to ask you guys this because you guys are on a different level than I am with the NBA, and I thought that Matisse this year was, I mean, we're talking about him as the 6th or 7th guy, and now he's like the 9th guy off the bench. Doesn't always get a lot of clock. Seems like he's hesitant when he's in there. Like, is it? Do you guys think it's because Andre? I asked you first. Do you think maybe he's just not used to this system yet? Maybe because when he came into the league and it was under Brett, now he's almost like a rookie all over again. Maybe he doesn't fit in Doc's system, but something's not right. What do you think's going on with Matisse?
I think first and foremost, you hit one of the nails on the head. I think he needs to hit the reset button because he's having that rookie look. Not necessarily his play. Well, his play, yeah, but his rookie look. Like, for instance, under Brett, he was used a little differently. He was told, hey, go in there, play defense. And in the first 3 games of the season, Doc did the same exact thing. Remember, Doc was subbing him and Seth out depending on what we needed as far as offense and defense if the game was close in the end. Remember, he would call timeout, put Matisse in, take Seth or Maxey out, or take Seth and Shake out. But I think to answer your question, he's lost right now, and he has to find his spot and where, because it hasn't been consistent of how he's been in and out of the games yet. Right. And I love Doc. I love, like you said, everybody from Popeye Jones to Doc Rivers, the whole coaching staff. I just think his consistency of when he gets in the game is not there yet. He doesn't have a role. He doesn't feel. And then when you bring in NBA trophy ring getters, when you bring in the Greens and the Dwight Howards of the world, and then you bring in a sharpshooter like Seth, and when you bring in this mix, remember Matisse was almost the cream of the crop again with the roster that they had last year. Mm-hmm. He's not the cream of the crop anymore, and not only that, he's not even a sixth man.
Right.
He's not. He's more like the eighth and ninth man at this point when it comes to that rotation. So it's a little tough because of the team and the way it's constructed right now. It's a little tough for Matisse. Has he taken a step back? I think that's a little too premature right now at 10 games into the season. But I think that he's a little lost. I think he's a little lost because there's no consistency of when he gets in, when he doesn't get in.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Dude, there's quarter stretches where he don't get in at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's like, yo, where? Oh, I mean, like, yo, he's there. Oh, he's on the bench. He's there. I'm like, man, where's Matisse? But he's there, and he's my guy. Like, I love Matisse. Right. He wears my old number I used to wear. So like, I just think he's a little lost. Doc, and it's a little weird too because Doc preaches defense.
Right.
Yes.
He preaches defense. So the question really is who else is playing defense better than him?
Nobody. But besides Ben. But you hit everything I was going to say on the head. I mean, you got to think he was he 6 off the bench last year?
He was 6. Last year he was 6.
So he knew every night he was going to get a certain amount of minutes. I mean, it was just automatic. He didn't have to, maybe I'm going to get in this game. Maybe I'm going to get in that game. Oh, I don't have to worry about this guy because I'm going to play over him. He didn't have to worry about that. So now you see Green and Curry and all these other guys. You get the kid, they see the kid Maxey in practice. They like, woo! All the coaches, woo! And now he's looking like, man, I don't know when I'm getting in the game. So then it's here. They now had a confidence in me that Brown had in me. When am I going to get in the game? So then when he is in the game, which I've seen in the first couple games, he was just in the game just to be in the game because he's not totally there. So Doc needs to talk to him to make sure that he did say it, I think it was the fifth or sixth game. He said, I talked to him and told him he's going to be a very important part of the team, which he should be in certain situations. But you can't play him over Shake. You can't play him over Cork when Cork is hitting. So you got to find him to use him as a situational player to do what he needs to do. But when he's in there, he has to understand, and I've seen Doc get on him a couple times, when you have the shot, you take it. This is what this team is. This is the difference between Doc and Brown. You have the shot, you have to take it. And that's what Tobias knows now. You don't. I saw that a little bit in Curry in the beginning, and now I don't see any hesitation with him, and I love that. And I want everybody to keep with that. And that's when you have that shot and it's there, you got to take it. So it's just a confidence thing. Is this a thing of, man, I was playing a lot more and now I'm not, and being able to handle that coming off the bench. And I agree. Think that's it with him. I don't think he's lost favor. He lost this. He lost that. Because what was that game? He had like 12 points because he hit like 2 or 3 threes. But that's the confidence coming back that he lost because he was sitting on the bench. I think I seen one game. He probably got in for like 3 minutes in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It's just gotta find a niche for him, find a way to get him in. Maybe certain points, somebody's a little hot, you put him in on it, like he could have did that with Beal the other night. Maybe just put him on Bill for 5 minutes just to harass him, get on his nerves a little bit, get a couple shots in, and then do it again in another quarter. Do stuff like that. You got to keep him involved because we need that type of guy on us. It's going to be those tips and harassing people. You need that to be a championship team. So I think he'll be fine.
I think we're going to see a weird rotation on the second half because one point I wanted to make about Thibault is after 10 games of the season, he's shooting about 30%, but he's only averaging 2 points.
Right.
If Thibault's role in this, and I'm sure the coaching staff wants this too. Thibault's role should be 5 to 7 points a game when he's in the game.
It should be.
Because he's going to get yanked anyway. He's going to get pulled anyway
in there.
So while he's in there, right. But I think what keeps him out of the game is because he's not as good as the ball handler as the 4 people in front of him.
True.
At that position.
But
so
you don't need him.
But
that's part of the problem. You don't want him to ball handle. You just want him to catch and shoot. He hasn't improved that in the offseason, which he needed to. That was another thing. He should have worked on his off the dribble in the offseason. Along with his catch and shoot, he should have have a move off the dribble to the right or to the left. You see, Shake came back with that left. So that tells me he was working in the offseason.
I mean, even Eric Snow did that.
Let's not forget, Matisse. The reason why he was so important to his team is he was a defensive All-American, right? I mean, we weren't really talking about his offense here, which is without saying that's when you get to the NBA. If you come as a defensive stalwart, you need to work on your offensive game, and now you don't have Brett Brown where you can pull the wool over his eyes a little bit. You got Doc, and Doc sees that. Right? And like you said, Al, they're watching this Maxey kid in practice. They go, whoa, hold on. This kid, he already above Matisse when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. And now we just got to get his defensive game down and control. He does have a weird-looking shot. But, hey, man, listen, he's perfected it for him. So, and a tearjerker, like you said. Now, where does Corky fall in the points now, right? So
he doesn't.
Right. I mean, because how can you move him off the chain here? Even when
I think you can, but you got to limit his minutes. You got to limit his minutes. When he gets back, you gotta fit him in there because if he's hitting that shot, he's going to contribute. So you just got to see those nights where he's contributing and when those nights that he's not, and not ride that wave too long because if he's not hitting those in the beginning, he's not going to hit them in the second half. So you got to know, all right, I'm going to limit his minute, maybe get a little bit to Maxey, a little bit to Thibault, like that type of thing. He can contribute. I ain't going to say he's going to give you
but he can contribute. No, he can contribute, Al. Mm-hmm. He can you talk about Korkmaz, right?
Right.
Yeah, he can definitely contribute, but but that's where the conflict is.
Right.
Because Cork is going to give you more offense than Thibault.
Right.
But Thibault's going to give you more defense than Cork. Right. So that's where the conflict. That's where Doc really has a problem, and it's a great problem to have. Don't get it twisted. Absolutely. It's a great problem to have. And like I said, the game yesterday was a major. Like think about it. Cork only played 3 games this season.
Yeah.
He's only played in 3 games this season. So. Yesterday
been a perfect game for him to play.
That would have been the best game ever.
Imagine Maxey going off that pick and roll and then right to the corners or wherever for him, and let him shoot as much as he wanted to, get his form together, do whatever you want to do. That's the type of games that you need him to be in, so he can get himself together. Yeah,
but we have to see it, and we're not going to really reap the fruit of this labor from yesterday's game until closer to the playoffs.
Right.
Because that's when it's going to click for those young cats. And they're like, listen, we're hungry. And the stage, that's what I loved about yesterday. I've never been more happy about a loss.
Right.
Yeah.
Never in my life. And when I looked, I said, all right, we're good. We're good. Like I looked at it like we're good because when the stage isn't that bright and that big for you in the playoffs and what they call the game slowed down for them, after a game like yesterday, that NBA game slowed really. I mean, it came to almost a screeching halt for Maxey. Obviously, he had 39 points,
Right.
but the other
That
guys, the
wasn't bums
Bradleys,
out there they was playing against either. That wasn't bums. That wasn't like who's at the bottom of the league now. I can't even. Everybody's
bro, it wasn't the
not
Bulls.
as bad as they used to be. So I can't even say the worst team anymore. Usually it was one team.
Right.
You would be like they trash, and you could just name them. Not everybody is trash anymore. So whoever is the worst team, Denver's not them.
We already played the worst team, the Wizards.
Yes.
I don't even know. Sometimes they can shock you.
Bro, the Wizards is 15th in the East. I'm cool at it.
And Bill had a crazy game.
Bro, nobody is worrying about the Wizards. They're 15th in the East.
Long term.
Like,
I actually think Bill is going to get traded before the trade at the trade deadline. I think he's just going to say I think he's just going to say I had enough. Enough is enough. I'm out of here.
Look. Bill, my buddy Bill he says trade Ben, Thibault, and Shake for Beal. Perfect timing right there, right?
Come on,
here we go.
Stop,
Here we go.
Stop, Bill.
We'll just trade the whole team for Beal.
Yeah.
Bradley had
you Tony, you know I love me some Bill. Bill is a beast.
Oh, he's a stud. But he had a Dana Barrows moment, okay?
Wow.
He had a Dana Barrows moment against the Sixers. And guess what?
Whoa, Dana Barrows.
Yo, well, Dana Barrows scored 50 plus. I'm just saying. He had a Dana Barrows night. And I get that. And I think that was great for Bill, for Bradley. But I'm gonna tell you something. He's in a very toxic environment right now, bro. That's why
the guy to his left that wasn't a good thing for him. That was actually worst thing for him.
I think so.
They would have probably been better off getting a draft pick for Wall than bringing in Westbrook. Wow. That dude is just
it's bad. It's bad down there, man.
Yeah, it is. Now Phil, let's switch course a little bit here because we talked up a little bit in the beginning, and it's a good point. Phil says NBA aced it with the bubble, which I think we all agree. I thought they did a fantastic job. Them in the NHL, I thought they did tremendous. But he says they're failing right now with the current setup. Obviously, we see what happened tonight, right? The Boston and Miami game is canceled, but the Sixers, have to play with barely enough players. So, what do you think? And Al, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think the biggest difference is this year compared to last year? And do you feel that they're failing as well?
No, I don't know how much more you can do. I don't know. They're testing crazy. They're telling the players to keep, a small amount of people that you're around. They're telling the players they can't go out to the club, to the restaurants, and all of that. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to have to travel. You don't know where Curry got it from, or what's the name from Boston? You don't know where they got it from. They could. Who knows where they got it from? Could have got it from the doorman or anything. You don't know what happened. Somebody delivering something to their house. They could have got it from. Maybe they walked to the door with no mask on. Who knows where they could have got it from? So I don't know what else you can do except for throwing back in quarantine again. Inside the bubble in the playoffs. But I don't want to do that again. I actually am looking forward, because we got a long way before the season is over, that we can actually go to a playoff game. By the time playoffs hit in May and June, hopefully we could go to a playoff game. So everybody's just going to have to deal with this, take their lumps, and it is what it is. But have to be willing to cancel when it's that bad. When it's that bad, just cancel it. It's not the end of the world. You're not going to die. If it's a team like Denver that's on the other in the West Coast, all right, just take that game off, and they take a game off, and then that's instead of 70. What is it? 72. So all right, you had 71 games. Because it's East Coast, West Coast. So but if it's a team close to you, you can do it because you're that close instead of traveling all the way out to Denver. You just have to deal with it. Every team's going to have to do it. It's just maybe a little bit more teams are having to deal with it now than they were. Actually, I actually prefer that it does happen now. Imagine this happening in the playoffs.
Like what's
Oh,
look what's happening.
total disaster.
Look what's happening in the Cleveland Browns tonight in football.
Yeah,
Right? I mean,
yes.
right?
I mean, they don't even have a coach on the sideline. Like
Exactly.
he can't be there even in the stadium. So yeah, you can't have that. So if as much as that can happen now, let it happen now. Get it over with, and then hopefully, you get 80% of they go through what they're going to go through and get past this. And at a certain point, I'm assuming at a certain point, I'm probably thinking of maybe April. I think they're going to get the vaccine anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
They can't get it this early. They can't get it this early, but like April, I think they're going to get it anyway. They're saying, "Oh, we're not trying to push our people in the line," but trust me, at a certain point, they're going to get it because they're going to be them NHL, them and baseball going to only be the three sports playing in between now and April. So I think that's what's going to happen anyway. But you can't do any more than you're doing now. What are you going to do? Are you going to shut down and then come? And you just got to play.
that's
The
what
players and coaches, teams, everybody knew what the risk was before they started this season. It hasn't got terrible. It hasn't been 15 games that got canceled because of it yet. So it hasn't got that bad. It's just been a sprinkle.
Right.
Hopefully it won't get bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. What else can you do?
Yeah.
And I think we're going through that as a society right now too. I mean, everybody, they do what they can do, and everybody, for the most part, 95% of society is taking this seriously and doing what they need to do. I mean, but eventually, I mean, it comes to a head. I mean, unless you're just going to lock yourself inside of your house and never go out for air, I don't know how. You're always going to have risks. You can't mitigate every single risk. But they're doing the best they can. They have contact tracing. Like you said, Al, it's not like we're talking about they missed a ton of games, right? And there is no all-star game this year. There's a break, but there's no game. So they essentially could make up games within that break as well if they needed to. So,
what? They might have did that to do that, too. They might have built that in and say, all right.
They definitely did. They
want you and yada, yada to meet at yada's court during that time.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. They definitely built that in, and if they have to use, they have to use it, and that's why, Andre, that I know you talked about it, and that's why it seems so weird that they were so hesitant to cancel the Sixers game, even though I think we all agreed it was good to watch young kids play, but then they were really quick to cancel the game tonight. And so it was like, did they think about it and say, man, we really screwed up the other night? Yeah, that's what I think. We were like the guinea pig. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, that's exactly what they did. Let's. I'm going to say this on. I'm going to say this. One, this is unprecedented times. I think Adam Silver has been doing a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
But nothing's perfect.
Nope.
Right.
Nothing's perfect. And unfortunately, the Sixers game yesterday was that not perfect thing. Because here's the deal. Yeah, because no matter how you look at it, they have a schedule, right? But if nothing's perfect and this is unprecedented times, there would have been nothing wrong with just saying, hey, we'll just mark another date on a calendar in the future for you guys to play. See, to me, once again, it's the NBA. Do you run with the 7 players? Now let's take COVID out and quarantine out. Are you running with 7 players?
No.
In a regular season game? Right. I don't think that's happening. I think it's rescheduled.
Right.
I think it's rescheduled, and it may even have, how sometimes you may have to go there. It was a home game. Now it's an away game.
Right.
And it has to be rescheduled because that, to me, yes, to your point, Tony, it was fun seeing the young players play. But at what cost?
Right.
So was the game uninteresting? If the Sixers would have won, would it have made a different decision based on what's going on with, players being out because of COVID? We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. So it's okay, Adam, as great as you've been, you can't, like Al said, you can't track everybody and their family and everything else. You did a great job in the bubble obviously during the playoffs. But now that everybody's in their own home courts, in their own cities, in their own situations, that's when you're going to have a Sixers game like that. You're going to have, come on, let's just be like when we were talking before the show. It's like 7 players?
Yeah, that's
This
crazy.
isn't middle school. This isn't like the media youth center or
Crazy.
something. Like
Crazy.
where one of the players is, you
Crazy.
cannot do. This is a business.
Yeah.
So I believe something happened, whether that we don't know about, whether it was television sponsorship, whether it was I don't know.
That was supposed to be an NBA TV game.
Yeah, so
NBA.
something happened where they're like, oh, we can't have that again.
Yeah.
And they had to make the call immediately. And yesterday was
And then, of course,
the
that
litmus
was the
test.
ESPN game yesterday.
Yeah.
What was the Boston game today?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the ESPN game.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, that it happened, but the one rule that they didn't have and a protocol that they didn't have in place was for something like yesterday. If you have less than X players, then we'll reschedule the game.
Right.
Hey, you live and learn, like you said.
Yep.
And the most important thing is, as long as you learn from it, make the right decision the next time. So
you got to make the right decision.
Right, exactly. And again, I think you're spot on, Andre. I've said that before. Between Adam Silver, Gary Bettman, I thought that through this entire bubble process, they were the two commissioners of two leagues that took this the right way. And Major League Baseball act like a bunch of spoiled little babies. Say what you want. It was owners fighting players, and it wasn't health is the number one well-being, right? In the NFL is the NFL. They think they feel like they're bigger than everybody. And listen, they didn't do a bad job. We'd say what they want, but with the virtual draft, and they did everything they could to give us a product to watch. And let's.
I mean, what we have?
We're happy, right?
What we have?
Exactly.
3 players. I think the Eagles only had like 3 players a whole season with COVID. So I mean, how can you beat that?
Right.
I mean, they did a pretty good job.
Exactly. And I know Buffalo only had 1.
Wow.
They were the least targeted team when it comes to the disease. And that's why the Dwayne Haskins thing, I know it's basketball, but that's why the Dwayne Haskins thing was so ridiculous, in my opinion. Because, the brotherhood within the NFL to me is the strongest in all sports. If you take the 4 major sports, that brotherhood they have, and the way they're unionized, and the way they are together, it's huge. So I think that's why we've seen that. And NBA is number 2. And I think that's why you've been able to see, fortunately for us, the least amount of outbreaks that could be possible. But when we started this show, we talked about this being, Sixers and NBA. So as we wind this down, let's talk a little NBA, for the last 10, 15 minutes to talk about, because there's been a lot of interesting things that happen. There's been teams like the Knicks who actually are falling out a little bit, right?
I wrote down a couple of things. My first one was Julius Randle is balling.
What is going on with Julius Randle, man? My God. I mean, it's the first thing to point out when I look at the entire NBA is the Knicks. I'm saying, wait a minute. We thought this was going to be a horrendous team. They're showing some promise. I mean, Barrett is inconsistently showing that he's going to be a player. Julius Randle saying, "Yo, put it on my back. I'm here." Listen,
12 for Randle so far. 22-12.
Wow, he's a monster, man.
That's Julius Randle?
Yeah.
22-12? Like, what is going on?
It's
he's
crazy.
all right, but he ain't 22-12. Like, he's all right. He's never been 22-12 type of player.
No, he's not, and that's a crazy part about it. And it's like, is he doing this to say I want to be a part of the New York Knicks going forward, or is he trying to get traded? I think he wants to be a part of this team. I think he said, I want to be the guy. I want to be the man. It's going to be me and RJ, and we're going to build around us, and we're going to ball out. And he's playing well. But, Al, I'll start with you. Most surprising team so far in your mind, whether it be good or bad, doesn't matter. Coming. I know it's only 10 games in, but there's been some interesting things that have happened so far.
I was going to say a couple of days ago, I was going to say Atlanta, but they just went backwards.
Yeah.
They started off hot and on fire. I'm like, damn, Atlanta might be all right. And now they went in the toilet. So I probably would say Indiana now. Indiana, I think, is better than I thought. I didn't think they were going to be this good. And what's the name in the middle is a beast. The other day I looked, he had
Miles Turner.
No, not Miles Turner. The center. What is his name? with the left-hand guy. Oh, I don't know why it's missing my name right now. I didn't write his name down, but he had something like 22 and 20 the other night, some crazy number.
Yeah, Grant
in Detroit is playing out of his mind. That's the same Jeremy Grant that we drafted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about working on the game. He's 24 and 6 a night so far. 24 and 6 a night.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant is 24 and 6 a night. So
I'm thinking the bonus. You're talking about the bonus.
Yes.
Bonus now. Yeah, he's a stud. But Jeremy Grant, yes. The same cat we traded. Unbelievable.
How many years ago was that? Was that 8 now? How long has he been in the league?
That long ago?
He might have been around there.
I don't even know.
He's been gone at least 5.
Wow.
So you gotta think like that. And then my other one was Curry, just like you. You called it early that Curry's gonna play out of his mind and be an MVP candidate.
I know it's early.
Oh my God, he's been cooking. I watched the other night. They were getting smoked by the Clippers. He brought him back himself.
I'm telling you, man.
A step back, Jay, right in what's the name's face, and I was like, wow, that Curry's still that guy.
He wants the ball. He's only 32, man.
He did a step back, step to the side, 3-pointer right in George's face, and that ended the game the other night. I'm like,
that was a nasty game, man.
They just beat the Clippers with him and everybody else. That's all
it's him and Draymond.
Yep.
And I think
that same game, Draymond had probably like 2 points.
No, I'm saying when Draymond came back, that light switch went on for Curry.
Oh, you start feeling a little bit more?
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, he got the young kid, the high flyer in the middle. You know, that dude is just out of his mind. And Curry, we're going to hear, we're going to hear a lot more about him. My East sleeper is weird because we kind of spanked him last week.
Oh.
But think about this for a second. If the playoffs started today, Charlotte would be the last spot in the East.
You know what? And
they would be in the last spot. They're eighth in the they're eighth in the Eastern Conference. If the playoffs started today, Charlotte would be in the playoffs. Like Charlotte, think about it. You got Charlotte, Chicago, Milwaukee. Then obviously you got the upper echelon teams in the East. But after that, those guys would be in the playoffs right now. And Lamelo is playing backyard ball. Nobody is stopping him. I saw a video surface the other day, which was hilarious. Somebody was interviewing him, and he had other players in the room, and he said, that guy over there can't stop me. That guy over there can't stop me either. He's talking about his own teammates.
Yeah.
He's talking about his own teammates. I was like, whoa.
He's going to be the better ball out of the two.
100%. Yeah, shout out to his dad, man, because he said that. He actually said that. He said, ooh, and that Lamelo is the one. But much better passer, a more pure-looking shooter.
Right.
Than I just think because of I think the older brother, just because he was older, made it to the league first. I think that was what that was all about. But they don't have a bad team, man. No. I mean, they got Bismack, they got Miles Bridges, they got LaMelo, they got a couple guys that they can put together, and with Devontae Graham, like they can give you problems.
Yeah,
they can give you problems.
Athletic. I seen that when they played us too. Very, very athletic.
What they didn't see is weird because what I called it. Remember, I don't know if you guys were following me on Twitter that earlier that day. I said, yeah, he's going to get in. He's a great athletic player, but guess what? We talk about the ball kid. But he went up against a buzzsaw. He wasn't ready for 6'10" Ben Simmons. He wasn't ready for him. He was not ready.
Yeah, he's got a that's a couple years down the line once he develops more.
Right, but he's ready. But he's ready for the Magics of the world, the Pacers of the world, the Heat, the Nets. I mean, well, I don't know about the Nets yet, but the Hawks. But he's ready for those type of teams. But when he comes into like a team that has a dominant big man, where he has to shoot threes, because there's a couple of times he drove the lane on us and we just sent him back to Charlotte.
Yeah.
We just said, listen, bro, but he's still young.
One time he came in there and Embiid just threw it to stop. You're not ready. Certain things he isn't ready for, but if he, like you said, those Magic, those other teams that don't have a center, a defensive center, or defensive presence
Right.
in general, he can will and deal and do whatever he wants to do to them, and they can't handle him. It's too much.
So Charlotte would be my team. Just like it's just weird, man. And I know, and somebody just put it. I know it's the Jordan effect. You got Mike looking at you every night.
Yeah.
Like you got Mike looking at you every night. It's like the Sixers play better when Doc's in the building.
Looking at you every night.
Yeah, Mike's looking at you every night. So my team in the East that and they're only 8. And don't get it wrong. I mean, I think they're 500. They're 5-5 after 10 games, but they're playing.
It's not bad for them.
That's my point. It's a really sneaky. It's a sneaky team of a bunch of young guys who don't get tired, who can play 40 minutes and it's nothing. Right. So I think Charlotte would be my Indiana. Like to your Al, Indiana was your team. I think is kind of wild. I think Charlotte would be my team. Then after Charlotte, the Hawks. I'm not too sold on the Hawks or the Heat yet. I'm not sold on them yet.
We play when we play the Hawks tomorrow. Is that tomorrow's game?
I believe on Monday's game.
Yeah. So we'll see the Hawks tomorrow. I seen somebody broke their hand today. One of the shooters. So he's out. So he won't play tomorrow. I think it was one of the free agents that they got. So he's not going to play tomorrow. Ben's not playing tomorrow. The problem is who is playing tomorrow? That's the problem.
Exactly.
Who is playing tomorrow?
Exactly. Who knows, right? Who knows? We'll be waiting an hour off the game time.
Yeah.
To find out, right? We wait out. So for my team is a little different. I'm going to go with Phoenix, and the reason why I'm going to go with Phoenix because on a positive note, they 7-3, and Chris Paul and Devin Booker haven't even learned how to play together yet. Yeah. And that's what's crazy to me. DeAndre Ayton isn't who I thought he was. He's still learning on the job, right?
I don't know what he's ever going to be. I keep waiting for him to be what we thought he was going to be, and I don't know. I know. I have the lead pass, and I've been watching him, and he's not what I thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was a project, but I thought he was going to be a little better. But I mean, you got guys like Cameron Johnson, who I loved in North Carolina. Mikal Bridges, who should be here, damn it. Okay,
let's not talk about that.
Wait, let's not even get into that.
Yeah.
Right? Veterans like Jay Crowder coming off the bench, right? I mean, listen, and again, back to the first point of Booker and Paul just learning how to play together. And I'll tell you what, man, if Booker, Paul, and Bridges can form a formidable threesome, and then you have Dario Saric come off the bench as well. I mean, they got a really nice team. Monty Williams does have that, out there in the West.
Good coaching and some good smart players that just got to learn how to play with each other. Actually, it's funny. I had Booker on Friday night for our
did you?
Our fantasy, and he only had like 20, and I was expecting him to have like at least 35, and he only had like 20, and I was disappointed in him because I was thinking he was going to light them up. And Detroit, they wound up going into overtime against Detroit. And I
took the under. I took the under on that game.
Going to overtime with Detroit. Like, what is going on? So I thought he was going to light them up and that was going to be a blowout. And it actually was. And Detroit came all the way back and then took it in overtime and then wound up beating them in overtime.
Yeah, Phoenix is a fun team to watch. And I always like to watch like what those guys are going to do and the rotations with Jay Crowder and those guys. So, but what's to me, I think you got to watch the next 3 games. The next 3 games, they play the Wizards, they play the Hawks, and then they end, I think, the 3rd game with the Warriors. So to go up against that buzzsaw and those 2 guards with the Wizards is going to be a real good test for Booker and your boy Chris Paul. So when CP3 and Booker is going to about to go up against Westbrook and Beal. So that game alone is going to see it's just going to be a fight. It's going to be like a Pacquiao fight or something. And I just can see it. Like I can see. So then we're going to see if did they wear them down enough to play against the Hawks, right?
Yeah.
And then they're going to turn around and play against You're gonna play against Curry, who consistently drops CP3 with his handle
Yeah.
consistently. Like they need to just stop letting Chris Paul stick Steph Curry. Period. It's like I don't know what that's all
Well,
about.
you shouldn't be doing
It's
that anyway.
pride or something. But what they need to do.
CP was a very good defensive player for his position, but not at this age. Not at this age. He's done with being a great defensive player. My eyes popped open because I seen what's the name running for a touchdown. They're up 14-0 on Pittsburgh. That just distracted me. I was like, what? 14-0.
Is that my boy Baker?
Yes, they up 14-0 on Seattle. Wow. I don't know what's going on in the world, but it's early. But anyway, yeah. I don't know he's got to get somebody else on Curry because he's not that defensive player like he used to be.
So
he's
Phoenix,
just going to get embarrassed.
Phoenix is a good pick. Is a good pick, but I think they're going to. I mean, the other good thing I like about Phoenix is they know who they are. They know their personality. They know every game is predicated on good guard play. Yeah. They know that. So going into that, it's easy to game plan for them, but it's also it's hard for the opposing team because if their big men start getting off, then you really got a problem now. Because Devin Booker, he's a walking bucket. It's not like he gets to the line too.
The only problem with them is you can't get it down to 8 and he's going to get you buckets like I thought he was going to be. I thought that he was going to be the inside and what's the name was going to be the outside. But it's not like that. He's not. He should be. I didn't look him up today, but he should be 17 and 12 a night.
Well, he should be, but the 3 games that they lost all 3 games by interior defense play. Interior play, their big men didn't step up those games. And if you got 2 guards, that's why I brought up the point against Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. If you got 2 guards beating those 2 dudes down all game long, I don't know how much confidence they have in their big men to carry the load. Those guys
might be their
downfall. 7. I just think 7. Well, I don't know. That's why I'm on it. I love Phoenix. I just think I think it's a little fool's gold. That 7-3 is a little fool's gold because I love the way they're playing. I just think when they come down, they're about to go up against a couple different, but the next 3 games. Because even after those 3 games, they still got to play Houston Rockets. They still play the Pacers and the Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies, I don't see the issue with them, but definitely Houston and definitely the Pacers. But once they get past Washington, or if they beat Washington, but if they can get past these next 3 games, then I'll be maybe they are for real a little bit.
Okay.
Because Joel Embiid said something last week I thought was just pure leadership. He said, yeah, I mean, we're winning. We're beating the teams we're supposed to be. But we really haven't played any really good contenders.
Which is true.
I mean, it was a shot. It was a shot against the lead. But to me personally, that's kind of how I look at a lot of these 6-4, 7-3 teams. It's 10 games into the season. But when you get into the heart of the season, now you got a bigger litmus test to go, okay, I got a little more information. This guy, they beat this team, they beat that team, whether it was home and away. I'm not an analytics guy at all. I'm going to tell you that right now. But what I do know is the eye test never lies to me. And when you 7-3 and you about to go these next 3 games, then they'll be at 13 games into the season. You will say, okay, 13 to 7, the game 13 to game 18, you can kind of get a feel of who this team really is.
Yeah, I was just looking at a game they played to Indiana that they won the other night. He had 5 points. He did have 14 rebounds. I'm talking about Aiden. He did have 14 rebounds like he should, but he had 5 points. Come on, dude. You ain't get drafted to be a 5-point scorer and 14 rebounds. That's going to be their problem. So if he never hits where he's supposed to hit, right. Because then they're going to have to bring somebody else in. It was supposed to be inside outside. That was what they drafted him for. And if they can't get consistent out of him, then I don't know where you got there. That's a problem.
Al just solidified the point I was just making. Did he not, Tony? I said if they can't get big man play, they're going to be because they already told the league who they're going to be. They're they're just like our two guards, and they may go 2, 3, maybe 4 guards deep on that team. And think about it, those other 2 guards, they have to practice with them all day, so they're not bad players.
Yeah.
But if you got to spell CP3 and Devin Booker for 10, 12, 13 minutes a game, your big man got to step up.
Yep.
Right. He's averaging 12 and 11. I don't think that's enough for that. He's number 1, right? Was he that number 1 pick? Or is he 2?
Was he 1 or 2?
I know he's 1 or 2. I don't remember which one, but it can't be 12. It can't be 12. And I think this is his 3rd year now, right? Isn't this his 3rd year?
This is his 2nd year.
Oh, 2nd year. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I give him a little leeway.
He'll be on the
sophomore. Be better offensively.
He was the first pick. The first pick.
Yeah, you need more than 5 points, bro.
Yeah. Definitely. And
he's playing against the bonus too.
What's
that?
Bonus
is physical.
Yes, he is.
So, if you soft against him, he gonna eat you alive.
So I want to end this show on this point, this question, because I thought about this and I figured, I got to give, a little jigsaw take at the end of these shows because I know I get your blood boiling a little bit here. I want to get your guys' opinion on this because I'm seeing it play out. Unfortunately, the one guy's injured, so it's going to take a little more time for me to prove myself right here. But, I said this all last year. I said that if I was drafting, I would take Ja Morant over Zion Williamson. And everybody, ready? Andre already said. Now, here's my premise. Again, it's because I think Ja Morant dictates today's NBA game. And I still think, as dominant as everybody says Zion is, I still don't think, number one, he holds up he can't stand the test of time. And number 2, I think he gets lost every now and then. Kind of like Larry Johnson did. I brought this up on Tuesday. So I want to get your guys' point here because I'll tell you what, until he got injured, Ja Morant again was proving me right. I still think Ja Morant was a more established offensive baller. Okay, so I still say to this day, Ja greater than Zion. Okay, and I understand everything goes marketing, right? Everything goes into this as an NBA owner. But I'm just talking about the NBA game. For me, it's Ja over Zion. Andre, am I wrong?
I agree. He's hesitating. That means no.
It's not a quick. Yeah, he's thinking too hard here.
No, I'm not even thinking too long. I'm just going to say you're wrong, Tony. Listen.
That's okay.
You're wrong. Here's the thing. First of all, I'm gonna say you're wrong. All right, because I love you. But what I'm gonna tell you right now, if you had to say in the beginning of the season, and God forbid, we don't want to wish nobody injury, right?
Right.
You'd be like, man, is Ja Morant more injury prone than Zion? You would think it would have been Zion,
right?
Because of the weight and the conditioning and all the bouncy, you would think so, but that didn't happen. So if we're basing it on Ja Morant's offensive game that was better suited for the NBA,
yes,
I gotta say this: for this era of NBA, yes, but not NBA. Meaning, Zion Williamson, in my personal opinion, is an 80s, 90s player. He's the old school big man, bull in a china shop. Obviously, I don't want to compare him with the Oakleys and the Mahorns and all that other world. I'm not comparing him with that. What I'm saying is this dude.
Him to Barkley the other night.
He's more Barkley than Oakley, I tell you that, because of his offensive game. But I'm going to tell you something about Zion Williams. Zion is just an incredible talent. Ja Morant probably was an NBA player at 9 years old because of the way the game's structured. The game is the Ja Morants and the Jalen's of the world and the kid from Boston,
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum. Is the way the game, because the game Right, but the game shifted, and this is gonna take you a little left right here. The game shifted to those type of players, Jason Tatum's of the world, and Zion Williamson, and those guys look young. Those guys seem young. They look young. They bouncy the whole nine. Zion Williams look like he's 37 years old, right? But he doesn't. But he plays. He plays so big, and like you can't pause, but you can definitely not rule. He's a player that you have to go. You have to pick. You have to pick a Zion Williamson. If you had Zion and Morant next to each other, you'd be like, oh man, I really, like you said, spoken like a GM, a team owner. I really want John Morant, but I gotta go Zion because this dude, I've watched him. We all see his strength. We all know his game. We all know that part. But I've never seen a player, with the exception of Shaq, clear an entire lane off a rebound. That's the last player I've ever seen with that much strength and ability to like clear a lane is Zion. John Morant, I think he gets mixed in with the rest of the players in the NBA. Zion stands out. That's why. That's the only reason.
What do you think, Al?
It's just. I mean, listen. It's an argument. Well, it's my argument. So
I got you.
No, it's fine.
I think I would probably go Ja, but the kid he's still amazing me that he's putting up the numbers he puts up, and I'll check in on the game. And he'll have like a couple points, and then I check back. He had like 25. I'm like, how do you get 25 that fast? So he's doing everything. What I need to do is I need to catch like 5 straight games of him and watch the whole game so I can really see him, what he does, how he does it. Does he get it off for rebounds? Does he just do it off a fast break? Is he using a jump shot like he did last year? Is he not using it? Is he just taking it off the dribble? I need to see everything on him. Ja is amazing. I think I would take Ja just because of the way of the basketball league. But again, we talked about this before. The Ja, the CP3 when he was younger, the Tatums, those type of guys. What's the name in Atlanta? Those are the type of people that is why people are so. Oh, get Ben out of here! Isn't that because they want him to be those type of people? And I keep telling people he's never going to be that. He's going to be. He has to be Ben, just shooting more. So that's most of the problem in Philadelphia market. They want him. They see all of these people dropping 50 and 60 and going crazy, and then they're like, well, he can't do that. And they thinking that's their mentality. I want that guy. So, but yeah, 100%. I would say Ja. I don't know. Another thing, I don't know him obviously, but I don't know his passion. But I just kind of figure I don't know if he loves the game. I don't know if he loves the game and how much he's going to be willing to pay the price to be what he should be. Building up to be ridiculous. So are you going to pay that price to go to the next level? You're going to keep that weight at a certain amount all the time? Or are you going to do everything that you need to do to get better and better and better every year? So I don't know if he just seems like way too relaxed to me. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
That's it. That's a good point. I just want to make one more point about Zion that I think that it's 2 years in with Zion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zion.
Well, not really. It's like a year and a half. Because remember, he came back after the All-Star break.
Right. All right. So even a year and a half. He hasn't. We haven't seen him. I think this comparison would be more legit if Ja wasn't hurt and we're like in year 4. Only reason why is because Zion hasn't changed anything about his game. He's still averaging 20. Right. Which is not, I mean, it's the NBA. You're still averaging 20. But he still hasn't cracked. for him to be that type of player, for me to be totally bought in with Zion, he need double-digit rebounds.
Yeah.
And he's
that's
still
effort.
averaging under 10 of he's still averaging
And that's
under
effort.
10.
That's effort.
Yeah, because in 19 he only averaged like 6-7 rebounds a game.
Right.
But he's still only averaging like 8-9 rebounds a game. He still hasn't cracked the double-double.
And the other thing is, I don't know if they got the right coach for him. How does he keep getting a coaching job? I don't understand how what's the name keeps getting a coaching job, dude. There's so many other people that deserve a coaching job. This guy keeps recycling to Detroit and Orlando, and now they're like, why is he keep getting the job? I just don't understand. I don't know if he's the right coach to put. Like Doc would be a great guy for Zion.
Mark Jackson,
huh?
Mark Jackson would be a good guy.
Mark Jackson, like a lot of other people, maybe what's the name in Phoenix would be a good coach to push him. You need somebody to be on that guy like white on rice. No, I want you like I heard the other day because Sam Cassell told Ben, I want 10 rebounds out of you every night. And Ben is like 9.8. So he's making sure he does that. You need somebody like that to push him. Yo, wow, I want you to weigh every day when you come in. If you're not where I want you to be, then I want you to lose that. You know, you need for that kid he needs to be top 5 player 2 years for him to cap out to be where he needs to be. So if you don't have the right coach, that could be part of the problem too.
He needs to be a double monstre. If he anything less than that is anything less than that, he's not having a successful career, in my opinion. Not a player of his caliber. Because I thought the same thing about Anthony Davis too when Anthony first came into the league. But when he just sprouted out of nowhere, and if anything less than a double from Anthony Davis, you just not here tonight.
And the weird part is he's still a little soft. Like if he full-fledged, he'd probably be even more of a monster than he already is. I think he takes nights off and he just chills. Just because he can.
Yeah, I like that because he can, right? I like that. Al, you're right, man. There ain't no bigger fraud than Stan Van Gundy, in my opinion.
Jesus, I don't understand.
Hey, one dude, I don't understand how they keep getting retread over and over again, man.
His brother can't either. Jeff's like, yo, how you got a job and I don't?
Right, I don't get that either because I like Jeff.
Yeah.
At least Jeff can coach. Stan stinks.
What has he got? He got pictures with somebody? Like, I don't understand what the hell is going on. This dude keeps getting the job and taking the team that he gets the job from right in the toilet.
Him and Mark, anyway. I don't know. They must have pictures of somebody, bro.
You give him the number 1 pick in the draft to work with? I
don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But, yo, boys, this has been tremendous, as always. I wanted to keep this in an hour, but, yo, man, it is what it is, man. It has a mind of its own. We had some great comments coming in. We had some great conversation. Again, NBA all around the world. I love it. Sixers, NBA. Again, every Sunday. And it may not be live. It may be recorded. Whatever it is, we're going to do what we can do because, listen, we all have families. We all have everyday life, and we're going to do what we can do. But, again, Heat Ratio Sports, give us a follow. Give us a chance. Check the YouTube page out. There's going to be daily content every single day of the week. We're just looking for Saturday. Right now, we got 6 out of 7. I'm actually in talks with a cornhole, a professional cornhole player who found us and sent us a message. It was like, hey, I'd love to be a part of this. Bring them on, man. Listen, I'm all about everything. This is a family event, family affair, like P. Diddy said. And Andre and Al, I really appreciate you being here with me. Out this trio, man.
Likewise, bro.
It's been great. It has. Great first show. Again, Half Court Heat. All 3 of us, personal accounts, you see there on the bottom. Give us a follow at Heat Ratio Sports. Like I always say, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you next Sunday.